I slapped her so hard her sunglasses flew off and landed in the fountain. I didn't care that the cameras were on. I wanted her to remember that moment every time she looked in the mirror. People gasped. One woman even dropped her smoothie. A kid tugged at his mom's arm and whispered, "Is that lady okay?" Phones were already up, some recording, some pretending not to. Security guards from the mall started heading toward us, but I didn't move. I stood still, breathing hard, my hand still stinging from the hit. She just stared at me, one hand covering her cheek, mouth open, shocked. Ryan stood behind her like a statue, lips parted, not saying a word. Not running, not defending either of us. Just stuck. That moment didn't happen by chance. I knew they'd be there. I planned every second. It wasn't like I woke up that morning and decided to go slap someone. No, this was something I thought about for weeks. I imagined it on repeat in my head, how I'd walk up, what I'd say, where I'd stand. I even rehearsed it in my bathroom mirror. What I didn't expect was how satisfying it would feel when her head jerked to the side and everyone turned to look. A few security guards finally reached us. One of them asked if everything was okay. I looked him dead in the eye and said, "It's fine. Just a little overdue conversation." He didn't know what to do with that. None of them did. They asked me to leave, but not before I turned to her one last time. She looked so small now, shaking, still trying to understand what had just happened. Her designer bag was half open, one strap slipping off her shoulder. Her lip gloss was smudged. I leaned in close and said, "He's married." To me. You knew it. And now everyone else does too. Then I walked out. Past the fountain, past the food court, past the people pretending they weren't staring. You might think I'm crazy. Maybe I am. But when someone rips your life apart, you either cry alone in the dark or you make damn sure they know you're not going down quietly. That was the moment everything cracked open. But if you really want to understand how I got there, how I ended up slapping my husband's mistress in front of a dozen strangers and a security camera, then you need to go back. Back before the slap. Before the lies. Before I started finding receipts in his pockets and excuses in his mouth. This didn't start with a slap. It started with a necklace. One I never got. I'm 37. I live in a nice suburb outside of Charlotte. I've got a stable job in marketing, a pretty home with a front porch swing, and up until a few months ago, I thought I had the kind of marriage people envied. 6 years married, 9 years together, a mortgage, a dog named Max matching holiday pajamas every Christmas. You know, the usual. Ryan, my husband, is the kind of man people naturally like. Tall, good teeth, always quick with a joke. Works in tech sales, which means he's always traveling. Client meetings in Austin, trade shows in Chicago, team events in Miami. I used to miss him when he left. I'd pack his bags, slip a note into his shaving kit, kiss him goodbye at the door. He used to text me mid-flight just to say he missed me already. That was before. Looking back, the change didn't happen all at once. It was slow, subtle, like a slow leak in a pipe behind a wall. You don't notice until the damage is already there. First, he stopped calling from hotel rooms. Bad Wi-Fi, he said. Then came the gym routine. Suddenly, he was obsessed with working out. He started tracking calories, buying protein powder, ordering those ugly tight shirts that showed off his new muscles. He said it helped him focus. I told myself it was good for him. The phone habits came next. He used to leave his phone lying around, even in the bathroom while he showered. Now it was always face down, always locked. If it buzzed, he'd snatch it up fast like it was on fire. I asked once lightly, "Since when are you so secretive?" He laughed it off, said he was planning something special. I smiled, believed him, because that's what you do when you love someone. You believe them. You tell yourself, "I'm overthinking." You explain it all away. I started to feel like I was losing him, but I couldn't explain why. Our sex life dropped. I blamed stress, work, anything but the truth. Then one Saturday, I was doing laundry and emptied his pants pockets. Just a normal thing I've always done. Only this time, there was a crumpled up receipt from a fancy jewelry store uptown. The date was 3 weeks ago. It was for a necklace, a gold one. Not cheap, but I never got a necklace. I stood there holding that receipt for what felt like an hour, just staring at it. My stomach turned cold. I told myself it could be for me. Maybe he was saving it for our anniversary, but something in me already knew. I folded the receipt and put it in my nightstand drawer. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just stood there in the laundry room, next to the dryer, thinking, this is how it starts. After that receipt, I stopped guessing. I started watching. I didn't confront him right away. I needed proof, solid, ugly, undeniable truth. So I did what any woman with Wi-Fi and a little rage would do. I became my own detective. I started with a small notebook. I wrote down every time he left town, where he said he was going, how long he'd be gone. I noted the times he didn't answer my texts or calls. I took screenshots of his Instagram stories, especially the ones that felt off, too polished, too staged, and too vague. Then I looped in my best friend, Jess. She's blunt, funny, and allergic to bullshit. I met her for coffee and slid the receipt across the table. She didn't say anything at first, just stared at it, then at me. Finally, she said, "Girl, that's not for you. And you know it." That hurt. Because she was right. She told me to dig deeper. So I did. That night, after Ryan fell asleep beside me, I grabbed my laptop and made a fake Instagram account. Blank profile. No posts. Generic name. I followed his coworkers, his gym buddy, even a girl he once said was just someone from LinkedIn. No one questioned it. People will accept any follower if the profile looks boring enough. It took 2 weeks to find something. One of his coworkers posted a group photo from a team event at a hotel bar in Atlanta. It was blurry and crowded, but there was Ryan, sitting at the far end of the table, leaning in close to a blonde girl in a red dress. Way too close. His hand looked like it might have been on her knee, but I couldn't be sure. It wasn't hard proof, but it hit me like a punch. After that, I started tracking his credit card activity. We share a joint account. He never thought I'd look. I matched dates with his trips. There were charges from wine bars, hotel spas, and one charge from a lingerie store. That wasn't for me either. I Googled the hotel names he'd booked. Found out some of them weren't even near the conference centers he said he was attending. One was right by a beach. In February, during a supposed sales retreat. That's when the fog lifted. He wasn't just cheating. He was building a second life, one trip at a time. I felt sick, but I wasn't crying anymore. I was quiet, focused. I wasn't just a wife anymore. I was building a case. He had no idea. It happened on a Saturday. I wasn't even supposed to be there. I had walked into this tiny boutique downtown because I needed a distraction, something to keep my mind off Ryan's next business trip. I was flipping through a rack of sweaters when I heard 2 women talking at the front of the store. One of them was loud, excited, probably in her mid-20s. She was going on and on about a guy she was seeing. "He's amazing," she said, laughing. "Like he's older, but in a hot, mature way? He works in tech, travels a lot, so we don't see each other as much as I'd like. But when we do, it's just perfect." I froze. My ears tuned in like a radar. I edged a little closer, pretending to look at some scarves. "He bought me this necklace last month," she continued, pulling at her collar to show it off. It was delicate gold with a tiny charm. "And get this, he said he wishes he could be with me more, but his job's so demanding right now. And he's always staying at nice hotels when he's out of town, but he says he's lonely without me." Then she pulled out her phone. "Here, look at him," she said to the cashier, turning the screen around. It was Ryan, my husband, standing behind her in a mirror selfie, arm around her waist, smiling like a teenage boy. I didn't blink, didn't speak, just slowly backed toward the door, heart racing but face calm. She bought a pair of shoes and left. I followed her from a distance. She got into a white SUV, and I memorized the license plate. I even took a photo of it, just in case. Back home, I went straight to my fake Instagram. It didn't take long to find her. She had tagged the boutique in a post the week before. Her name was Maddie. Pretty. Young. Her entire feed was photos of brunches, sunsets, outfits. And Ryan. Always just out of frame, or shown from behind, or with the caption, "You know who, yellow heart. She wasn't a one-time thing. She was in love with him, and he was letting her be. There was one post of a dinner table with 2 glasses of wine, and a man's hand holding hers. His wedding ring was gone. Something inside me shifted. I didn't feel shocked anymore. Or sad. I felt cold. Focused. This girl had no idea she was talking about her amazing guy, while standing 3 feet away from his wife. That's when I knew. This wasn't going to end quietly. After I found her Instagram, I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't throw anything. I smiled. Because now I had a name, a face, a pattern, and a plan. From that day on, I acted like the perfect wife. I made him dinner. I laughed at his stupid jokes. I bought him a new cologne he'd been eyeing online. "Just because," I said, handing it to him. He kissed me on the forehead and said I was too good to him. He had no clue. Every time he left the room, I was on my phone, screenshotting his Instagram stories, her posts, their comments. I saved everything. Blurry hotel selfies, tagged locations, even the emails he left open on his laptop when he thought I wasn't looking. I kept a folder on my desktop called Taxes 2023. He never opened it. Inside was every piece of evidence I had. Dates, times, hotel names, flight info, bank charges, screenshots. A timeline of betrayal. One night, I casually said, "Hey, I can start helping with your travel receipts if you want. You're always so busy, and tax season's coming." He looked up from his phone, surprised but relieved. "That'd actually be great. Thanks, babe." He sent them to me in a shared folder. I cross-checked every hotel, every flight. That's how I found out he wasn't in Dallas last month like he said. He was in Charleston, at a spa resort. The The same weekend, she posted a boomerang of champagne flutes clinking under fairy lights. When he told me about his next trip to Miami, I smiled and asked, "Need me to pack your blue shirt?" He grinned. "You always know." I even tucked a note into his suitcase like I used to. It said, "Hope she's worth it." But I folded it so tightly, he wouldn't find it unless he really looked. He didn't. While he was gone, I tracked his location using our shared phone account. He spent 2 nights at a boutique hotel near the beach. She posted a photo of her toes in the sand, tagged Miami vibes. I printed everything, kept it all neat, organized, labeled. I didn't want to fight. I wanted a finish. And the more he lied, the more I smiled. I tucked him in with kisses, sent him flirty texts while he was with her, asked him what he wanted for dinner when he got home. He thought he had me wrapped around his finger. But really, he was tying the noose all by himself. I messaged her from the fake Instagram account late one night. My hands were steady. I wrote, "I know about you and Ryan. I'm not mad. I just want to talk." She replied within 10 minutes. At first, she was defensive. "Who is this? What do you mean?" Then, when I said I was his wife, her tone changed completely. She asked if I was okay. She even asked if Ryan had hurt me. That made me laugh a little. Not out loud, just in my head. I told her I wasn't looking for a fight, just the truth. I said I wanted to meet, woman to woman. She agreed. We chose a quiet cafe, the kind with hanging plants and mismatched mugs. I got there first and picked a corner table where I could plug in my phone. I opened the voice recorder and set it down like it was nothing, tucked between the salt shaker and the napkin holder. She showed up 10 minutes late, in high-waisted jeans and a soft pink sweater. Her eyes were wide, nervous. She looked like a college student, not someone wrecking a marriage. "Hi," she said softly, sliding into the seat across from me. I gave her a weak smile. "Thanks for coming." We ordered coffee. I let her talk first. She started slow, clearly unsure what I already knew. I kept my voice low and shaky, like I was barely holding it together. I told her Ryan had been distant, that I found receipts, that I just needed answers. That's when she broke. Her face crumpled. She started crying right there in the cafe. "I didn't know he was married," she whispered. "He told me he was single. He said he was just getting out of something messy. He said he wanted to take things slow because he'd been hurt." I nodded, silent. She kept going. Said they'd been seeing each other for nearly a year. That he took her on trips, bought her jewelry, promised her things. "He told me he loved me," she said. "I thought I was his only one." She looked me right in the eyes, tears rolling down her cheeks, and whispered, "I'm so sorry." I leaned forward and put my hand on hers. "It's not your fault," I said gently, "but I needed to hear it from you." She nodded, wiping her eyes. "If I had known God, I would have never." I squeezed her hand once, then let go. My phone sat there on the table, recording every word, every tear, every confession. When I walked out of that cafe, I didn't feel broken. I felt ready. He told me he was going to a client lunch that Saturday, said it would probably run long, and he might stop by the gym after. I smiled and said, "Take your time." But I already knew where he'd really be. Thanks to her Instagram, I knew she'd posted a story the night before tagging the new coffee spot inside the Westfield Mall. 2 hours later, Ryan had bought a gift card from the same place using our joint account. Subtle, but not smart. I texted Jess, "It's happening. Westfield. Noon." She replied instantly, "You want backup?" I answered, "No. I want witnesses." I dressed carefully. Nothing too flashy, nothing too casual. Neutral makeup. Hair tied back. I wanted to be remembered, but not pitted. I got there early and found a spot in the food court near the fountain. I ordered a smoothie and sat with a magazine like I was just passing time. My heart pounded in my ears, but I kept my face calm. At exactly 12:13 p.m., they walked in hand, laughing. He was wearing the shirt I'd bought him for our anniversary. She had on the gold necklace. They stopped near the frozen yogurt counter. She leaned in and said something, and he laughed, resting his hand on the small of her back. I stood slowly and walked toward them. She saw me first. Her smile faltered, but then she smirked. She knew. Ryan turned a second later. His whole face dropped. His hand slid off her back. "Hi, Ryan," I said, loud enough for heads to turn. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. I turned to her. "You must be Maddie." She crossed her arms, trying to stay smug. "You didn't have to come all the way here just to embarrass yourself." I smiled. "Oh, sweetie. I didn't come here to embarrass myself." Then I slapped her. Hard. Her sunglasses flew off and landed in the fountain behind her. A lady nearby gasped. Someone dropped a pretzel. Phones were already out, filming. I didn't care. Maddie staggered back a step, hand on her cheek. "Are you insane?" she shrieked. Ryan moved like he wanted to say something, but stayed frozen. I looked at them both, calm as ever, and said loud enough for the whole food court to hear. "Smile for the camera. You're gonna need a good screenshot for your resume." Security started walking over. I turned, smoothed my jacket, and walked away without another word. Let them deal with the mess. I'd already cleaned up mine. By Monday morning, the clip was everywhere. Someone had posted it to TikTok with the caption, "Wife slaps husband's side chick in the middle of the mall. Drama level, 100. It got shared to local Facebook groups, then neighborhood apps, then someone tagged the mall itself. People in the comments were cheering. She's a queen. I'd do the same. This is what public shame looks like. Of course, not everyone was on my side. A few said I went too far, that I should have taken the high road, that I looked unhinged, but I didn't care. Let them talk. The best part? I still had the full audio recording from that cafe lunch with Maddie. Every word she said, every lie Ryan told her, every little. I thought I was the only one. I sent the recording and the mall video to Ryan's company's HR department in a polite, professional email. I titled it, "Concerns about Employee Conduct While Representing the Company." They responded less than 2 hours later. "Thank you. This will be escalated to senior management immediately." Then I emailed the video to the school where Maddie worked as a teacher's assistant. I found the contact info on their website. I didn't add a comment. I didn't need to. The video spoke for itself. Ryan called me later that evening. He sounded panicked. "Can we just talk? Please? You made your point. Don't ruin my career over a mistake." I laughed. "Oh no, Ryan. The mistake was thinking I wouldn't find out." Then I hung up. Friends and family started reaching out. Jess, of course, was thrilled. "I've never been prouder of you," she texted. My mom was more cautious. "Honey, I wish you hadn't slapped her." But I get it. Some mutual friends of Ryan's tried to stay neutral. One even said, "It's just sad all around." I blocked her. The truth is, the slap wasn't even the real ending. Just the loudest part. What no one knew, until now, was that I had already filed for divorce the day before the mall incident. The paperwork was signed, sealed, and sent to my lawyer. All of this? The video, the fallout, the chaos? That was just the fireworks. The divorce was the quiet goodbye. The clean cut. Ryan thought he still had a chance to talk his way out of it, but he was already out. He just didn't know it yet. Ryan thought the slap was the end of it. He thought I'd gotten my anger out and now we'd talk like adults. He had no idea I'd started preparing months ago. Right after I found that first receipt, the necklace I never got, I hired a lawyer. Quietly, discreetly. I met with her during my lunch breaks and gave her every piece of evidence I'd collected. Emails, screenshots, credit card statements, even the full transcript of my conversation with Maddie. Step by step, we made a plan. I opened a new bank account in just my name and rerouted my direct deposit. Slowly, I moved out valuables, heirloom jewelry from my grandmother, important documents, even my favorite coffee maker. All without a word. I removed my name from anything we didn't both need. Canceled joint credit cards. Stopped adding to our shared savings. Ryan didn't notice. He was too busy juggling his little double life. By the time he got served with divorce papers, hand-delivered at his office, no less, he was stunned. He called me that night. "You can't be serious," he said, voice shaking. "You're doing this now? While everything's a mess." I said, "No, Ryan. I did this before everything got messy. You just didn't see it." Then I hung up. Within a week, the consequences started hitting him. His company put him on leave pending review because of the video and the HR complaint. One of his biggest clients pulled out, saying it was bad optics. Maddie, meanwhile, lost her job at the elementary school. I don't know if it was the video or the emails I anonymously forwarded from her school account. Either way, the board called it behavior unbecoming. She posted a crying selfie on her Instagram story and wrote something about cancel culture, ruining her life. Ryan begged me to meet, just to talk things over like grown-ups. I didn't respond. When the divorce was finalized, I got the house, the car, and Max, our dog. Ryan didn't fight it. He couldn't. My lawyer was good, very good. She even found proof Ryan had used marital funds on trips with Maddie. That helped me get a bigger settlement. He thought he was in control, that he could lie, cheat, and still come home to the life I built for both of us. But I was never just waiting around. I was preparing to walk away with everything that mattered, while he stood there, holding nothing but the mess he made. It's been a year now. A year since the slap. Since the videos. Since I set fire to the life I thought I wanted and walked away without looking back. Now I live in a different city. New apartment. New job. New version of me. The weight is gone, the constant stress, the lies, the second guessing. I sleep better. I smile more. I laugh without wondering who's texting him behind my back. I've even started dating again. Nothing serious yet, but I'm open to it. For the first time in years, I feel like I can breathe. Every once in a while, someone will mention that viral mall video. They don't realize it was me. That's the beauty of the internet. It forgets faces faster than it spreads them. But I'll never forget. Not the slap, not the look on Ryan's face, not the sound of her sunglasses hitting the water. Then, out of nowhere last week, I got a message. It was from Maddie. Her account was private now, no profile picture, barely any posts. The message just said, "I'm sorry. I didn't know he was doing it to me too. You were right." I stared at the screen for a long time. Turns out, Ryan couldn't help himself. After I left and after she lost her job, he found someone else. And probably someone else after that. That's who he is. That's all he ever was. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. Instead, I posted a picture of myself sitting at a sidewalk cafe in Paris, glass of wine in hand, sunglasses on, smiling toward the street. The caption? "Cheers to the slap that started it all." Because that moment, loud and messy and wild, wasn't the end. It was the beginning of getting my peace back. And I've never been happier to start over.
Hi besties, thank you so much for watching to the end. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe.